Aaron, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in 50-50 when it comes to marriage?
Nah, not at all.
Tell me more. I'm listening.
I don't believe 50-50 because life is way too dynamic. There's going to be moments when I don't even have 50. There's going to be moments when you don't even have 50.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to supplement each other in different phases of life, different circumstances, different areas where it's your zone of genius and not mine. And then areas when it's my zone of genius and it's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
So 50-50, it sounds cute when people be like, we'll just go have on dinner for our first date.
Does that sound cute to you? That don't sound cute.
I'm talking about in the general sense of social media land where everybody wants to argue over that.
So what do you have to say to those men who think that's cute?
Well, if you're talking about in a cisgender heterosexual relationship, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if I'm going to ask Brianne on a date, I'm going to take care of it because I want to show my interest and I want to make sure that she feels seen, valued, heard, and understood in a way where all she has to do is show up and enjoy herself.
Mm.
Have the
Look
means
cute.
and look cute. If I have the means to make it happen, then I am assuming the responsibility of making it happen.
Because what do you look like inviting me on a date and then being like, you trying to go have? I'm getting hot just thinking about it. Here, take the mic.
Yeah.
Woo!
I
Because at that point, let's get tacos instead of you taking me to get, a full-on steak outing.
Yeah, I agree. The 50-50 concept, there needs to be a lot of communication, a lot of mutual understanding that goes into that. You can't just make assumptions about how that's going to operate. Now, especially when it comes to marriage, going back to my previous point, acting like 50-50 is always going to be the case is setting yourself up for some rude awakenings, setting yourself up for some disappointment, because there may be times when assumptions are made, but it's like, no, I don't need assumptions. I need clear communication where this is honest, vulnerable, and transparent, where we're talking through what we're thinking and the things that we feel, but we're not expressing explicitly. We need explicit. I'm specifically speaking to men in that situation because oftentimes we're not socialized, as in all of the influences around us from a very young age to very old age. Oftentimes, we are not encouraged to share our feelings. We often are not socialized, often not encouraged, often not taught, and we often don't explore our own emotions, which is, okay.
Now he's getting in his PhD in sociology bag.
We gotta,
go off.
we definitely have to do better as men in showing up for women in our lives, not just in romantic relationships, but also in friendships, and especially in family relationships. Because, the whole being emotionally unavailable and not communicating effectively how you're feeling and what you actually want out of a situation in a healthy way. Forget 50-50, we need to go to therapy. Like, you need to go to therapy to talk through some things. Go ahead,
Now, was there ever a point before marriage that you believed in 50-50? And I especially want to speak to the financial side of things.
if I was to go even far back as I could, with like going on my first dates, and that being late middle school, early high school. Even then, I remember my parents giving me enough money to pay for both of us.
Aww.
To do
That's cute.
whatever needed to be done. Like when I was of driving age,
Mm-hmm.
like me going to pick her up
Aww.
and like being in the position to take care of everything. So
I would have loved to date you in high school.
Yeah, that was a trip.
You want to know what my high school boyfriend did
Talk about
for
it.
my 18th birthday? He was it 18 or 16? Where were we how old? What grade were you in?
At
me try
16,
that
I was a
again.
sophomore in high school. At 16, but
Okay.
I was among the older of my age group.
Okay, it was one of my big years, either 18 or 16. But I will never forget, we went to Red Lobster for my birthday. Had a great time. Mind you, he was a little late, but he was driving from Dunwoody, which was about 30 minutes in traffic from Marietta.
This is all in the state of Georgia.
This is in Georgia, yes.
Because Dunwoody, I've never heard that.
Sorry, that's like
word in my
Sandy
life.
Springs, like,
You're just saying more words.
okay. It's near,
If it's not Atlanta or Marietta, it's Duluth.
All right. So nonetheless, my guy is running late. It's okay. Now, when he gets there, I'm acting like everything's cool, everything's fine, because again, she was in her people pleaser era. And
On her birthday.
on my birthday. Now, to make things even worse, on my birthday, the bill comes. And Buddy hits me with, "Sorry, I ain't got it, but I can pay you back." And I remember my mother was livid when I went home and told her that. I wish I was still journaling back then. Well, I wish I was journaling back then like I do now. But
I never knew. I don't think you ever told me this.
yeah, that's why I don't really be like, I've never been an advocate for us going to no Red Lobster date because that is traumatizing. And I remember just being so embarrassed. First of all, like outside looking in, I felt embarrassed because I'm like, dang, my boyfriend can't even pay for our meal. First of all. And second of all, just the act of having to put my card down on my birthday. But I feel like that's how I knew that I was so deep in the trenches of desiring approval and desiring friendship and relationship that I was like, oh, it's okay. Because I always had it. Like, I always worked. And I was always that friend where it was like, if you needed something, I was there. And I took care of it. So going from something like that to, I mean, we can skip over... I mean, if you want to talk through like what finances look like while you were a grad student, sure. But getting to the point where we are now, where if I'm pulling out my purse and the bill has come, it's because I'm getting my lip gloss and I'm reapplying it for pictures. Or I'm reapplying it before, because, it all came off while I was eating. Like, there ain't no second thought about, unless it's like, a date that I'm like, hey, I want to take you to this place that I found and I want to treat you. Like, that's completely separate. But yeah, we've come a long way, and I don't even really look at the bill now. I'm just like, that's not my business. So I think on the financial side, you go through your ebbs and flows. When Darian was in grad school, he did not have it like that. Do you care to share?
Absolutely. When I was in grad school, I was making like $15 an hour. That's my grad student stipend. Like I was in grad school for 6 years, so 2018 to 2024. My first pay stub.
You're right. Felt like 10, but yeah. I was like, was it only 6? Really in my head, I was like, was it really only 6 years? You're right.
Did you lump it together with undergrad?
Probably. There it is. Because when he was an undergrad, he was an RA. So our dates were going to the food hall, the dining hall, and him being like, do whatever you want.
It's on the university.
And I'd be like, can't wait to ingest all these laxatives. So excited. This is so romantic.
Whatever you want.
Man.
Yeah, but from 2018.
It's so hot.
From 2018 to 2024, if I'm just talking strictly grad student stipend, it never crossed above $16.50 an hour, and that was a 9-month contract. So during the summertime, I had to figure it out. And then even my last year of grad school, my funding was cut, and I had to get it's called a dissertation completion grant to finish that out. And
thank you, Lord.
My goodness. But either way, I still did like things entrepreneurially and had internships and stuff to cover the months when I wasn't getting my stipend. But your boy was not making a lot of money for much of my 20s. Like the vast majority of my 20s.
Yeah, you got the last 3 months.
Last 6. Nah, we go back. Fine. I mean, go back to March 2025.
I did. April, May, June, July. Up 4. Because I was counting February. But we adjusted. And
the thing is, this is all relative. So only we really know what the numbers really mean and how it all shakes out. But when I tell you, after graduating from grad school and actually getting the job that I have now, it is literally like night and day.
It really is.
It is night and day. But the point of it all is that even before, the notion of 50-50 being the default was, I didn't grow up with that mindset.
I think that has a lot to do with perspective. Is one, how you grew up and what you saw modeled, but also two, the company that you keep and the standard of what's normal that is discussed within that company.
And also, not even just the company that you keep. I'm talking about the podcast that you listen to.
Social media,
the YouTube videos that your algorithm is serving you because of the stuff you like and interact with.
Yeah.
Support
Cam Newton.
Honestly, the social media posts that you just find yourself bumping into magically. No, but...
And you know what? Heck yeah. No, they are leading you astray. And I'll speak from a woman's side of things, because when Darian was in grad school, and mind you, I didn't have any awareness around what it looked like financially to be in grad school full time and not have a full-time job. The people that I knew that were in grad school were working alongside me in big tech while also doing, night classes, for example.
That's a whole different...
It's a very different ballgame, and I wasn't aware, but I know that while he was navigating all of that, while we did have our discussions and, I was very honest and transparent around, I understand that this is the reality now, but let's be very clear, this is not going to be the standard for how we are going to live our lives when you do get a job. And all of this does pay off with the income that you'll make with a whole entire PhD in sociology. That in between, I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of sacrifice that came with it. There also were a lot of our expenses. I'm talking mortgage, bills, even some years helping pay for his student fees, because if the student fees weren't paid for, even though he did get a full ride scholarship, the student fees were not a component of that scholarship. And being you know what, I have the funds, I'm gonna help you out. And that does take a bit of humility. I think it also does take giving grace to your partner and knowing that they're doing the best that they can, while also having the honest and very transparent conversations. this ain't what I'm signing up for a lifetime, where like I'm carrying the brunt of the financial load in our marriage as the standard. And I keep saying the standard because I think that oftentimes we talk about goals, where it's like, oh yeah, I have this goal to, for us both to be making six figures, for example. But a standard is something that you consistently work towards and you set as an expectation for how you're going to operate, whether that is how you train physically, whether that is financially what you're going to be bringing in, whether that is how you're going to show up and the character and qualities that you convey with the people that experience you.
How you navigate conflict.
How you navigate conflict. Like, that was a very honest conversation that we had. So it wasn't as if I was on the okie doke with us just like going to McDonald's for dates all the time in our 20s and while he was in grad school. And then once he got a big boy job, then I was like, all right, switch up. We going to Ruth Chris every single Friday. Like, it wasn't that. It was very much like, I understand this is temporary and I'm here to help and support and lean into taking on more than that 50%. And also know that like this is what I saw growing up and what I expect when it comes to you taking the lead and providing as the head of the household in marriage. So both things can be true where you are in a transitionary time period or a temporary timeline, or you're in a temporary moment in time where y'all do what needs to be done. And that's why we say like the 50-50 is unrealistic. And knowing when you need to lean in to give more than 50% and knowing when you need to step back and like let your man do him. Like, it's part of the partnership, but this is kind of like what the reality of marriage is, where whether it's emotionally, financially, you give what you can, you do what you can, and know that your partner is doing their best to ensure that they can pour into and support you in the ways that they have capacity for and have the means to. So now emotionally, this man has the emotional intelligence that I have never seen in another human being ever before. And I will say that he has consistently been way above 50% when it comes to emotional support, when it comes to even just like whether it's interrelational between the two of us or whether it's something I'm navigating outside of us with another relationship. He has always been pouring. I know that I need to do a better job of working on increasing my emotional. Well, I don't feel like my emotional intelligence is low. I think I actually do have quite high emotional intelligence compared to the average person, but compared to you, from like daily regulation and not catastrophizing and just like baseline mellow energy, I definitely lean on you a lot to be the yin to my yang. Period. Any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
That was worth a water break.
Yeah. But yeah. That's that. We won't get into the spiritual side. That's for another day. But just know that the fluctuations are normal. Just because you are in a season where you may be way above the 50%, whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, that is not the end all be all. It's important to have the honest, transparent, and vulnerable conversations with each other so that there is mutual awareness of what that baseline does look like and how you both will be working towards that. Without that conversation, resentment can build because you may be over here frustrated and upset about all that you are contributing and not feeling as though it's being reciprocated whole time. this is a norm, and they're not, thinking that there's anything wrong on your end. And so everything, all roads lead back to communication. Like, what our standard is probably not the standard for a lot of other couples, but it works for us. And I think it's important as a couple, if you're out there listening, to set your own standards for your relationship based off of your values and your priorities, and bump what anyone else has to say.
Yeah, like bump what we got to say if it don't actually work.
If it doesn't align,
like,
yeah.
If it actually doesn't work for y'all,
yeah.
Check it for yourselves.
Yeah.
Not based on what you saw on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, podcast. Please take all of this with a grain of salt, because we're only speaking from our own experience. And we're doing this to share our experience in a way to prompt you to reflect on your own experience.
That's good.
I'm not here to tell you what to do, because we're talking to a phone camera, for God's sake. We're literally talking to ourselves.
Well, don't invalidate what we're saying.
I'm not invalidating it.
Okay.
I'm just stating a very firm fact. And we're talking to a phone screen with intentions to post this on the internet, so that
reach whoever it needs to reach.
It can reach whoever it needs to reach.
Yeah.
So, all that being said, I'll end with this point. There's the idea of 50-50. I think it's closely linked to the Hollywood narrative, love stories, rom-coms, TV shows and movies, where they say, go find your other half, or searching for your better half within a relationship, romantic relationship context. No, you're not half a person. You are a whole person. Like you
ideally,
you are a holistic individual with a past, present, and future. The idea is for you to find someone else who is also whole, to be psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, to then merge lives with, so that two become one. And then through that unity, you can go through life, together.
Yeah,
and
building whatever standards.
And building and creating the life and familyhood, the life and the family that you may want to create. Even if you don't want to create, a family, if you don't want kids, that's all fine and good. But don't just worry about the half. Brianne's not my other half. She's another whole with which I'm merging. So, do with that information what you will.
Period.
But you're not a half of anything. You are a whole, and you deserve all of what you desire.
Period. All right, and with that is today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.